Hey legends, how we all doing? So what's everyone been up to? I've been very busy lately. I've been doing the Own Your Future challenge with Dean Grazio and Tony Robbins. It is mind-blowing, the stuff that they're teaching. I didn't really believe that I was going to get so much from personal development. It's probably resonating with me more than anything at all. I really love the fact of being able to share past issues to then help somebody else in the future. I've had quite a few challenges in my life, and so has my wife. It's not something that we have ever really talked a lot about with people. Like, we've shared with some people to try and help them when they're going through tough situations, but it's sort of something that we've always sort of kept to ourselves. Before starting this online business, talking about my testicular cancer, I talked about it with a few people. I never would have posted something in a video to try and help others, but I truly believe that the stories that you have, you might be able to help somebody else with, and I'm learning that more and more with the personal development. So I did talk about once earlier in one of my videos that I was adopted. So I thought I'd share a little bit with you that it's one of the momentous things in my life. It is like, I had so many ups and downs with it all my life, pretty much up until I was 18. Yeah. So I'm just gonna go through it. I've got a few notes here because it just triggers my memory. Yeah, I might get a little emotional too. So pretty much from when I was as young as I remember, I remember that I was always told that I was adopted by my adopted parents. Just knowing that created a lot of feelings when I was younger. I guess when I was real young, it didn't mean a lot to me. It wasn't until I started getting a little bit older and start questioning about why. Why was I given up for adoption? And because you're not allowed to know who your parents are until you're 18, I couldn't just go and find it out. I asked my adopted parents, and the reasoning in that behind obviously wasn't allowed to be shared because you're not allowed to know any information. So it's not really a taboo subject, but it was just, I couldn't get it. So you start thinking shit. So I thought it was something to do with me. It's just a natural human reaction to start believing that you're the issue. And I tried to push that aside as much as I could. But as I got older and sort of got into 7, 8, 9 years old, that was pretty much my reason, was that I just wasn't loved. And that became sort of my norm, I guess. It is what sort of defined me. My adopted parents, my mum loved me, and we still get along with my mum really well today. But my dad, he struggled, I don't know, with anger and alcohol. We lived on a vineyard. Dad was old school. Pretty much, you just busted my ass for every little thing. While I did have a little bit of a relationship with him when I was younger, we went fishing and we went shooting, and it taught me a lot of things. It was hard. It wasn't I don't see it as the loving relationship that I expected to have with a dad. He kicked the shit out of me a couple of times because of just shit that I'd done. Just to get my ass beat all the time for not doing what I was supposed to do, or if I'd fuck something up. Well, back then probably that sort of punishment was sort of the norm, and that's probably what he received. It broke me a little bit as a kid. I feared my dad. He scared the shit out of me, pretty much. Yeah. And then when I was about 8, I'd seen Dad beat my mum up a few times. He would get drunk, mum wouldn't cook something right, and he'd just knock it. But yeah, so I struggled with that as well. Going to school and that, pretending like everything's okay. I got so used to pretending that everything was okay with people, and that sort of become my norm. And then you go home to shit. So it was a struggle. Like it really was. Right up until, like I said, I was 8 years old. My mum decided that she was going to leave him. So I remember leaving from the house to go to school, and my mum met me halfway up in the vineyard as I was walking up to the main road, which I thought was weird. And she's like, "Don't get on the bus after school. Like, wait at the school, and I'll meet you there." And I thought this was weird because my mum, she didn't have a license. So the only mode of transport she had was a push bike. She used to ride a push bike to work and back like she was a nurse. So we used to live halfway between here and Tanunda, and she used to ride to Tanunda, which was about 6 or 7 k's. She used to do that every day on a push bike. So yeah, I'm like, oh, what the hell's going on? So went to school all day, just couldn't bloody think or anything, just wondering what was going on, and then found mum, and she'd actually got a little unit in Newry. And said that I didn't have to see dad anymore. It was like, I don't know, like a weight had lifted because that fear sort of subsided. Like I thought, that's it. Life's going to get awesome now. Don't have to do this anymore. Like, just push it all away. And that sort of mentality of just run away from it sort of started building in my head. Then after a few weeks, hadn't seen dad, everything was good, life was good, thought everything was good, and then mum said we had to go to court. So I thought this was nothing to do with me. I just thought that it was a point where they were going to sort out whatever they had to sort out. I didn't even really know. But then when we got to the courtroom, and I got put into a separate room, and then they come and grabbed me and said, like, you need to make a decision basically on where you want to live and what you want to do. And like, I was 8 years old. Like, I was scared of my dad, and now they put me in a room where I had to make a decision in front of him. I wasn't going to say that I didn't want to go and see him because I thought he'd come and kill me. Like, that's the fear I had. Like, I was scared. But that's what happened. I basically, as soon as he got in the room, like, they suggested that I went and seen him every second weekend. Like, that was the normal. And whether I wanted to do that. And it's like the glare that he gave me across the table, I was like, yeah, no worries, I'll do that. Like, I was too scared to say no. It's not what I wanted at the time because of that fear. So then all of a sudden it was done. Went home. Pretty much the next weekend, I think was the first weekend that I had to go and see him, I ran away. Like, I finished school, I was supposed to get on the bus, go to dad's. I didn't. I had packed some extra shit in my school bag because I had planned this from when I left home, and I went and slept in an old abandoned house. So we had one that was up near Angaston, and I knew there because we'd played and ridden our bikes around it. I just went and stayed there for the night. Pretty much, like, the whole experience, it didn't even really faze me. Like, it just seemed like a camping trip for me. But the next day when I went home, like, I went to mum's, and as I was bloody riding my bike to get to mum's, like, she had the cops there, and I think that whole situation, like, it was just like a bit of a blur. Like, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Like, I was just more, because I was so scared about going to dad's that I didn't really want to do it. But I didn't realise that how much it affected mum. Like, she was a mess. And the most fucked up thing was that as soon as mum was okay and cops and all that, they fucking put me in the back of the car and took me to my dad's house because that's where I needed to be. I was petrified. Like, petrified. I thought he was gonna like kill me. I don't know. Like I thought he was gonna beat the shit out of me. I didn't really know, but it was just that fear. And then when we got there, he was good. I, I was like, "Who are you? What if you tell me my dad? Like this is not the person that I remember. Like the person that I built in my head." And he was really good. I don't know. Like then I thought maybe something had changed. Like, and when I was younger, I probably didn't understand the drinking that much. But like, yeah, I think it had a lot to do with that. But then that day was fine. And then the next few weekends after that was fine. Like we started having a relationship again. And then I found out that Dad was re-seeing someone, so Jean, and they were going to get married. So I was going to have a stepmom. So he was all really excited. Dad had stopped drinking, and yeah, like it was a good time. I know I really liked Jean. She was really nice. She changed my dad pretty much. So I was very grateful for that because I got to have a bit of a relationship, and we actually did a lot of stuff then that I treasure as memories. Then Jean got sick. When Jean got cancer, it changed everything again. My dad started drinking. It was back to how he was before, kicking the shit out of me for every time I fucking said the wrong word. Like, it's amazing how one act can change someone. So, sorry, I said I'd get emotional. But yeah, so Jean got sick. It went on for a little while. She was going through chemo and all that sort of stuff. I was still going backwards and forwards, but I was struggling to go back to Dad's. And look, I was getting into my early teens at this point, so I really had a point where I could choose whether I wanted to go there anymore, and I just stopped going. Like I couldn't do it. Like yeah, he scared me too much. I was afraid of what he was going to do to me. And then when Jean passed away, like I pretty much just stopped seeing him. I think I went there a couple of times, and it was just either a yelling match or whatever, and it wasn't good. So I stopped going there. I pretty much in my own life at that point, like I think I was just getting into high school, sort of year 7, year 8, and all I wanted to do was sort of party. I didn't really care for anyone to tell me what to do. Like I just wanted to do what I wanted to do. So I got caught up in doing drugs, and pretty much I had every excuse under the book. Like I had a shit childhood. I was adopted. Nobody loves me. Like who gives a fuck? Pretty much just do what I want to do. Every time a situation came around that scared me or feared me, I just sort of ran away from it. Even with friends and family and stuff like that. Like I lived in a dream world. Like pretty much I was creating my own world to suit what I wanted. And like I literally created my own world. Like I was living in a world that didn't even exist in my own head. And as I was going along, like I realized that this story was coming out to other people. Like and I lost a lot of friends. Like I lost a lot of friends because I was lying to them. It was really hard to try and come clean with people to say that I was so goddamn messed up in the head that I was living in a dream world and I was living my own reality. To then tell them that, like you're a teenager, like you're worried about what people think of you. You're worried about that. Obviously, I didn't worry that much. Like I was, but I wasn't. Like I was in turmoil. Like it was just, and I just didn't know how to get out of it. I got so down on myself, and I was pretty much, yeah. I got to a point where I tried to kill myself. Like it just all come to a halt. Like, and yeah, I spent a bit of time in hospital. Started going to see counsellors. Started learning different techniques, journaling, drawing stress techniques, things that changed my life. Like I used to struggle to sleep. I used to have the same like I don't know, this same dream over and over again. It was like in a big cave and there was rocks falling from the roof and they were getting closer and closer to me and I was trying to dodge them basically. When that noise would happen, I could hear my heart beating in my ears and I didn't know it was my heart back then. Like I always thought that it was like something going wrong with me. I always thought there was something wrong with me. But yeah, I learned how to get rid of that. I learned how to change it. And back then, while I was learning to do a lot of these things, I didn't realize how powerful my mind was. It was probably some of the first times that I actually learned that I could change my emotion, but didn't realize I was doing it. And I actually haven't realized that I was doing it up until now. Like it's pretty crazy. But yeah, fast forward a little bit. My dad, so when his mum passed away, my Nana Cocky, that was her name, because she had a Corella, a white cockatoo that she used to have as a pet, so we called her Nana Cocky. When Nan passed away, I really understood how much I had been ousted from my dad's side of the family, because I went to her funeral and I was the only grandson. I sort of thought that I would go there and the family would want to see me in bits and pieces. And my mum had come with, which was hard for her because they were divorced and her and dad never got along after that. So I thank her very much for supporting me and coming there. But I was pretty much, when they were going through the people that meant something to Nan, I didn't get mentioned. Didn't even get told that there was a grandson, and I was the only one. So that hurt. Well, I didn't think it was going to hurt so much, but it did. It really got to me. And I was about 17 years old and just lost it, bawled my eyes out. Got lots of condolences, even from friends and that were there, like older friends, as in family friends and bits and pieces, that said that it was wrong and it shouldn't happen and rah rah. But I really realised that. Sorry. I realised then that my family wasn't with them. Like that wasn't my family. That I'd lost that a long time ago. So Mum said, "Let's look for your real parents." I'm like, okay. I'm like, all of a sudden, hope. Like, I might get to find out who they are, and I can tell you, there was so many emotions, because then all of a sudden, like, what if they don't want to hear from me? Because, I believe that Mum could go back to the adoption agency and find out whether they wanted to be found or not, because they have a choice when they give you up for adoption. Just that whole range of emotion just freaked me out. So, yeah, we wrote a letter. I had Mum's help because my handwriting was pretty shit. I pretty much put down everything that I wanted to put in the letter, and then she wrote it for me because I just wanted it to be readable. And we sent it off. I knew my mum's name was Ali because Mum still had documents that you could actually see through the blackout on the paper. So I knew my mum's name, but that was all. I knew they lived at Cummins over on the Eyre Peninsula at some point. But yeah, wait and see. And I got a letter back. It was amazing. So my mum wrote back to me. I had two sisters, Candy and Jasmine, which is Candy and Jasmine. God, jeez. It was one. Sorry. It was one of the happiest moments of my life, apart from my kids. Yeah. Up until then, I really struggled with joyous moments. Like, I found them in substances and alcohol and shit. But this was true joy. I felt like the family that I always wanted, I had it in an instant. Yeah. It's just amazing the feelings that you can bring back up just from thinking about old situations. So, yeah. It all happened really quickly after that. My mum and my sisters and my dad come to see me. They look like me. Like, I felt like I was part of something. Like, I always wanted brothers and sisters, and I had everything that I ever wanted in that instant. It has been like one hell of a roller coaster with emotions. There's so much more in my past and stories on that, but I guess that for a short video, that is an overview of how life can take you in so many different directions. Like, I was up and down pretty much up until I was 18, and then when I found my real family, like, I go and see them. Like, we go over there every Christmas and spend time with them. Like, they took me in even though I was part of the family, and just, yeah, like, it's amazing. I love my sisters to death. I love my mum and dad over there. I still love my mum over here as well, though my adopted mum. But I have a family, which was something I always wanted. And I've created a family with my wife and kids. Don't let shit stop you doing what you want to do in life. Don't find excuses. If anything that I've taught, that I can teach you guys from my past, is that shit can get hard. It can get real hard. But all that is an opportunity to develop yourself. There's so much stuff from my past that I learnt to get through those situations, but didn't really understand what I was learning it. But I believe the universe brought that to me to help me to get to where I am today. Everything I've done has gotten me to where I am today, and pretty much, like, I'm on a journey because I want to get better than what I am today. I want a better life for my family. I want to be able to do the things that I want to do without having restrictions. And I think that's what most people want. That they want the freedom to be able to choose what they want to do in their own lives. And everybody's got a story. Everybody's got hardships that they've dealt with. But that story, you need to hold on to it. Like, that is what drives you to do the next thing. And if you can get past obstacles like that in your life, you can do amazing things. It's not what we do to... It's what we do to get past those issues is the skills that you will use later on in life or through life. But yeah, I'm just rambling on a little bit now. I'm still a little bit emotional. So thank you everyone for listening. Like, I will share a few more. Like, I've got a lot of other hardships and stuff that I want to go through. But yeah, one's enough for today, just from the emotional side of things. So thank you for listening. I truly hope it helps. I would really love to write this down in a book some point and put all the detail into it, not just trying to do a video. So thank you everyone for listening. Much love. Have a great day. Peace.